Hello, everybody. My name is Casey Greer. I work for NOAA. I do the NOAA Virtual Connections, which is what we're at right now. NOAA offers a lot of virtual connections weekly to connect socially or to do fun little panels like this. So it's very, very fun and exciting. If you're not on the panel for now, maybe go ahead and turn your camera off if you don't mind, since we are recording. That way we can see the panelists. And then a little later, we can maybe turn our cameras back on if we want to do a little question and answer at the end. But anyway, yes, we have 4 panelists with us: Liz Schaefer, Courtney Korb, Dale Hamilton, Erica Evans. Thank you all for being here. So we have 4 people here who were at the conference live and in person, 3 people with albinism and 1 parent of a child with albinism. And so I am really excited because for some of you who might not have been able to come to the conference, this is a time for you to hear what happened and what we learned and what we did. And then for those of you who did come to the conference, it's a time to reminisce and maybe like me, maybe you came to the conference, but you weren't able to. I mean, you're only one person. You might not have been able to go to all the sessions. So this is also a time to learn some of the things you might not have been able to do. You know, sometimes I wish I were like multiple people so that I could have gone to every session offered at this conference, but not the case. Okay, so I have a few questions for our panelists here. And if people want to pop in with other questions, please write them in the chat. And if you want to ask questions at the end too, we can do that. But for now, I'm going to start. Well, okay, quickly, I'll let everyone introduce themselves and maybe say your name, where you're from, and your relationship to NOAA, or how long you've been involved with NOAA. Courtney, you want to go first?
Sure, I'd love to. I'm Courtney Korb. I have a daughter, Allison, with albinism. Allison will be 10 in September. We have been involved with NOAA since she was about 3 months old when we first got our diagnosis. How was that? Good?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, good.
Dale?
Okay, my name is Dale Hamilton. I live in Bronx, New York, and I've been recently involved with NOAA about a couple of months ago as one of the task force members.
Yes, yes. Awesome. Erica?
I'm Erica Evans. I am a person with albinism. I live in Arkansas, near Little Rock area. I have been involved with NOAA since probably about 2010. My first conference was when they were in Las Vegas. I think that was 2010.
Nice. And then Liz?
Hello, I'm Liz. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I've been involved with NOAA since I was pretty little. My first conference was in 2010 to Washington, D.C., and I am also a member of NOAA's Junior Advisory Council.
Awesome. Yes, thank you all for being here. And for anyone who's just joined us, we are recording this meeting. If you don't want to be on the recording, you can turn your camera off and mute and all of that, and then we can turn it back on a little later. Just want to let everyone know that's coming in late. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. You all are great volunteers for NOAA and have done so much, and we appreciate you all being here. And I'm excited to hear your insight about the conference and your experience there. So let's start with the first question. What are some of the most memorable sessions you attended at the conference? So those of you who weren't at the conference, we have time blocks of different sessions, workshops, those kind of things. So I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but I guess I'm just going to name call here in random orders for these questions. And sorry if you're first. I'm gonna, let's start with Erica. Erica, what was one of a few memorable sessions you attended at the conference that you liked?
One of the things was one that I actually moderated, and that was It's in the Bag, Everything You Wanted to Know But Were Afraid to Ask. I moderated that session and kind of, set the stage. There were parents there of kids with albinism. There were people there who were adults with albinism, and it was just a really good discussion. I let them ask them to write down their questions, and we just did a round robin, whoever wanted to answer kind of deal. Because we were going to do it anonymous, and if they wanted to clarify or ask follow-up questions, they could. I really enjoyed the painting, the canvas painting. And then one of the other ones, let me see, I'm trying to find it on here. The Global Albinism Alliance. That was a very informative session. It was really good just to hear what's going on and how that is progressing.
Awesome. Thanks, Erica. I got to give Liz a shout out here for the Canvas session that Liz led. I'm really sad I couldn't make it, but it looked amazing. So those all sound really awesome. Thanks for sharing. Okay, who am I going to pick on next? Liz, I'll pick on you next since I just mentioned you. What was some of your favorite sessions you went to?
Okay, yeah, I was super busy the weekend of the conference. I was kind of leading a lot of different sessions, so I didn't get to go to too many that I wasn't kind of helping to run in some capacity or another. One that I really enjoyed, and I ended up leading a conference session called How We See, and it was kind of a space for people with albinism and also people without albinism to talk about the way that we communicate our vision to others. And I led it off by giving a mini presentation about kind of how we quantify our vision, and then also images of artwork that I did that kind of represent how we see from different distances. And I really enjoyed that session because of the conversation that was started at the end, and we all kind of were able to talk and start bouncing our experiences off from one another. So that was a really memorable portion of that session. I don't know if this counts as like a session or more of a social activity, but there was a young adults escape room that we did one night. That was a great time to kind of bond and connect with people socially. And then I also have helped lead what we called a life hacks independence living with albinism, where we talked about I led it with Cassandra, and Cassandra and I kind of talked about a bunch of things we do in our daily lives that help us. And once again, at the end, we had a really nice conversation with everyone who came about different things we each do. And so that was another session that I enjoyed.
Awesome. Those sound great too. And I have to take a minute right now to plug. So Liz tomorrow night is doing the How I See session that she mentioned virtually. So please come if you weren't able to go to that session at the conference, or if you were and you just want to see it again. That will be tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, I believe. I probably need to look to make sure. Yes, 8
Yes,
Eastern.
I'm pretty sure it's 8 because I went to initially log on to tonight at 8 thinking it was
Oh,
for
yeah.
tomorrow
Nice
night.
an hour later. So yeah, if you want to sign up for that, albinism.org or on Facebook, there's also the sign up link for you to sign up for that. Tomorrow night, be there. It'll be great. But thanks, Liz. Okay, next, Dale, what were some of your favorite sessions at the conference?
Okay, so I'll be very honest. I'm very disappointed that I kind of missed a lot of the sessions. Same thing with kind of like what Liz was saying. I was so busy, and for me, I was like, it was my first time going to a NOAH conference. So I was so involved with just networking and talking to different people and just sharing my contact information with so many people that I kind of forgot to be able to attend these sessions. Now, it's a good and a bad thing. It's a bad thing, obviously, because I would have loved to attend these sessions, but then it's a good thing because there was just so many people there and so many individuals with albinism that I spent most of my time like just in the lobbies, just talking and socializing and meeting new people. But there is one thing that I did attend that I loved. It was this Saturday night party that we had. And it was like everyone. There was adults there, there was parents there, there was lots of children there. They even had like a comedy show in the beginning of the night. And it was just so much fun. They had tons of like food and drinks. And again, it was so many people there that you can talk to and socialize. So that particular party Saturday night, I was very enjoyable, and I would love to attend any of the other sessions the next time.
Oh, awesome. No, that's a good point. The conference really is what you make it. You can go to as many sessions as you want, or you can, socialize more. So I'm really glad you said it was your first conference, right?
Yes, my first ever one. Now, I think, don't quote me on this, I think my mom took me to one maybe when I was like 6 years old.
Okay.
But in terms of, what I can remember, this is definitely the first, and it was
Nice.
wonderful.
Yeah, well, it is overwhelming the first time. You just want to meet as many people as you can. So that's great.
Right.
I'm glad you were able to make connections. And yes, the Saturday night was a lot of fun. Okay, Courtney, what do you got for us?
All right. Well, we've been coming to these conferences, as I said before, since Allison was less than 2. She's going to be 10. So our first conference was in San Diego. And I feel like I still have the same sort of jitters every conference because I'm so excited to meet other people that have, already traveled down this path that I'm going down or who are living on this path. Everything about that was the same for this conference. Starting with the opening session, huge shout out to Casey and Marlena, who literally I was sitting there crying, listening to them sing their hearts out. Just absolutely, I wanted to be up there too. Like I was trying to figure out, can I be like Olaf Jr.? Like, how can I get myself to be part? For those that weren't there, Casey and Marlena did a wonderful rendition of Elsa and Anna singing. They just made different words to match the NOAA theme. It was just so wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So that kicked everything off, and I felt like, oh, I'm coming alive. It was so great. I know you want to hear about sessions, but that was amazing, absolutely amazing. The sessions that I liked, and like everyone said, you get caught up socializing and talking to people. Especially having, for me, it's different from Dale because I've been coming to conferences. I have people, but I'm also meeting new people and we're catching up from the people that I haven't seen in a while. And, that socializing is such a huge part of this because you're networking and you're creating those relationships. Again, not just for me, but for my child also. But I will say on the parent lens, going to a lot of the parent panels. I know Sheila's here. I sat in on one of her panels. I was actually a panelist on her parent liaison panel, and I know I was supposed to be there helping other newly diagnosed parents on their journey, but like I was such a baby and I'm crying there and I'm getting so much out of it just listening to everyone else's story. Yes, I know that. I felt that same way. So hearing other people have similar journeys as I have had, that was super powerful for me just to hear everything. Going to other parent panels. So that was the parent liaison panel. And there was another session that I went to where it was just, parents talking about what they are going through, what they are dealing with. And it was sort of like a brainstorming session all together. What's something that works for you? This worked for me. And it really gave parents who are at different sort of stops on their, I feel like I'm overusing the word journey. Just go with it. There are different stops on their, okay, fill in the blank word right there. And we are just sort of helping them navigate what other options they have. So those were my favorite sort of sessions where we were all there for each other, listening, offering advice. Have you tried this? Did you try this? And then the last piece was my own daughter being in the kids conference and her sessions that she attended. I know she's not part of the panel, but she would appreciate me saying what she's walked away with. She left with great friends that she's had since she started going to the conferences from before she was 2 years old, and new friends that she made this time at this conference. She is still talking to them regularly. They're all on Messenger Kids. For any of the parents out there, they're constantly going back and forth with each other. So for her, and just having the experience of being there together, going to Disney Springs and the kids conference and just meeting those people and those friends, I think she had a great time, and I know that I did as well. Okay, I just did a lot of talking. I'm going on mute now.
Oh, that was great. Thanks, Courtney. And I'm so glad you're on this panel because it's so important to have the parent perspective too. And I really love what you said about no matter how many times you go to the conference, you feel like that energy and that excitement and that nervousness, the good nervousness, every time you go. And it never really, it never gets dull, at least for me, it never fades that excitement. So yeah, definitely. And yes, shout out to Sheila, who's awesome as well. And I know that you're helping so many new parents. So that's really great. Okay. So my next question, I'm excited to hear the answers to these. No pressure, but I always feel like at every conference, even though I feel like I know everything about albinism, and then I leave and I feel like I've learned something new, whether it be a life skill or something, anything. I feel like I always am learning at least something new at the conference. So that's my next question is, did you learn anything new at this conference? You might not have, but did you? And if you did, please share with us. So I'll randomly, I'm going to choose. I'll start with Liz. Liz, I know you were one of the ones doing a life hack session teaching other people, but is there anything you learned?
Yeah, I think that, like you said, I feel like how much more is there to learn? And every time I learn something new or discover something new.
Yeah.
And I'm just finishing up college now. So I feel like at this stage in my life, I figured out how to do that stage of my life. And kind of what Courtney said before is we're all on like the journey and getting to talk with people who are either like earlier on the journey than us and getting to like share what we've experienced with them. But then also, I think I learned a lot this conference specifically from talking to people who are on that like next step of their journey right above me, where I'm kind of heading, and figuring out how like just having conversations with them about what they do in their everyday lives and seeing how maybe some of the things they do, I will be implementing into mine soon enough. And I can't think of like a pinpointed example of that. And then something else about learning that this is kind of an offshoot, but I met someone who I'm now close friends with. Her name is Rebecca. So shout out to Rebecca. She created this app called Reboca, and it is an app that you could download on like an iPhone, and it's kind of like if you often use your camera on the iPhone for taking pictures and like seeing things. She made this app specifically to use like that, but it has other features on it that could be specifically helpful. Like it could zoom in a lot further than your like camera lens can, and you can increase and decrease the contrast and use it as a magnifier and use it for distance. And it has like a lot of cool features on it. So that's one new thing I learned about. And then at the life hack session, even though I started out by leading at the end, we asked everyone to kind of share if they had any life hacks that they would want to give with the group. And there was some good feedback there. I know there was a large discussion about sun dots, which are like little dots that you can buy and like stick onto your skin. And if you wear them outside, they color change with the UV. But if you put the sunscreen on them, they won't change. And then once it's time to reapply, they become a new color again. So that was another thing that I haven't used personally myself, but a lot of people were saying that they really like to use, especially with young children. So that's one other fun thing I learned.
Awesome. I shared the name of Rebecca's app in the chat just now. It is launched, right? It already has launched.
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
Okay, awesome. I need to download it too, because I didn't know it had already launched, but Rebecca's great. Rebecca comes to our young adult calls sometimes. And so that app really does sound awesome. And yeah, the sun screen thing too. You're always learning something new, and that's really exciting. Yeah, Karen just shared in the chat, Spot My UV are the makers of the dots. That it's called Spot My UV. And sometimes NOAA will give those in like little prize packages and stuff. I think I got one once, so that's really nice. Awesome. Okay. Courtney, you were last time, so I'll let you go second this time. Anything you picked up on or learned?
I was thinking about this. So there's like constantly things that you're learning, right? And I think for me, the most important thing that I learned is to rely on the relationships of the people around you that have gone through this, that are going through this, that have different experiences than I do. Like creating your network, for lack of better wording, as a parent, I do not have albinism. I don't know what it's like to have albinism, but to talk to other adults who do have albinism, to talk to other parents who are raising kids with albinism, I think just knowing and learning and listening to the people around you who have more experience or who have a different experience. I think that was my biggest takeaway and lessons learned. You can go and listen to the doctors, but every kid and every person with albinism is completely different, and their journeys are different. So just remembering that and recognizing that everyone has something different to offer, and to ask the questions and to be open to hearing different perspectives. I think that was my sort of biggest takeaway and not something that I learned new, but it's something that was reinforced for sure at the conference this year.
Definitely a theme of people who have come before you or after you with I mean, I hate to keep repeating it, but like on different parts of their journey, like you're saying. No, really, like you're looking ahead to those people to see what's next. And so definitely. All right, Dale, did you learn anything from anybody you met or
Oh,
anything?
absolutely. Absolutely. So what I learned was which was super important. So I learned about the different types of albinism. Now, I obviously knew there were different types of albinism, but I didn't know how many. So I kind of learned that there's like 7 different types of albinism and there's like 3 main subgroups. So I never knew those numbers or how many. And then I realized the difference between the different types. So I know that there are some types of albinism where the individuals are slightly melanated. I know that there's different types of albinism where they're hypopigmentated, where they have like snow white hair instead of blonde or goldish hair. And of course, I've always seen those different types of albinism, but never knew which type was which and which characteristics belong to which type. So that was very enlightening to me, because to me, I kind of just, no matter if the person's hair was blonde, brown, or white, I always looked at it like one and the same. I didn't know that there were so many different types and so many different subgroups. So it was very, very educational for me to finally know that.
Yes, absolutely. That's something that I think is important for everyone to know. And I'm glad that at the conference we can see a bunch of different people and see
Right.
all the
So
different
many different
varying
types.
degrees of pigment. So
Yeah.
yeah, there are a lot. I can barely keep up with all the subtypes. There's a lot of things. But that's, yes, definitely. I agree. And Erica, anything you took away this time that you learned?
Pack that heavier hoodie next time.
Oh, because it was chilly.
Yeah. So I had one, but pack the heavier one next time. And I knew better. I don't know if I really could say I learned something new. I mean, there was like just I did the Kennedy Space Center tour, and that whole thing was just interesting to me, and it was just all good information. So far as with our albinism community, I saw lots of new faces and met, new people. And that's pretty much it, what I can say right now.
No, that's great. And I'm glad the excursion to the Kennedy Space Center.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure that was very educational too. It doesn't have to be something you learned about albinism. You learn just from coming to the conference and doing those
Yes.
different things. So no, that's awesome. I love that. Okay, a few more quick questions, and then we can maybe either get in the chat or take a few from people. So I know I already asked about favorite sessions and stuff like that, but just one more opportunity to say any other fun memory or experience you had that might not have been a session. So Dale, we'll start with you. Any other little moment that was really special or fun that you experienced that you want to share?
For me, I love the fact that I had the opportunity to interview so many different people with albinism. So for those who may not know, or some who already do know, I have my show called Life with Albinism on YouTube. It's a podcast. And being that I was there with so many different people and so many different stories and so many different backgrounds of individuals, I had the chance to interview so many different people for my podcast. And that was just so fun because everyone was open to it. Like, just going around and talking to everyone was like, yeah, man, I would love to talk to you about my experience. I would love to talk to you about my experience. And just hearing the experiences from everyone and just seeing how vastly different everyone's life and everyone's experience with albinism has been. So that was something that was just super fun, just talking to everyone and hearing everyone's story and being able to interview different people. It was just amazing for me.
Oh, that's awesome. I put the name of your podcast in the chat, Life with Albinism. You can find it on YouTube, right? And
Yes.
so,
Mhm.
yes, no, I'm sure all of the different interviews were so good. I need to check it out. Are they all uploaded? Are they?
Oh, most of them are. So we walked away with like 9 episodes.
Oh,
So we didn't want to post
wow.
them. We didn't want to post them all rapidly.
Yeah,
So we're
so
doing
you're
like
just
one per week.
releasing.
And
Okay,
oh
yeah.
my God, we had some amazing episodes. Like we spoke to a man who was of Chinese ethnicity with albinism. Amazing story. We spoke to older people. I had a man on my podcast from the NOAA conference that was 73 years old, and he was able to talk about how segregation affected him as a person with albinism. So I walked away
Wow.
with so much knowledge. It was unmatched. It was
That's
unmatched.
amazing. That's amazing. Everybody definitely check that out. That's awesome. Yeah, so many different experiences and walks of life to hear about. I'm sure it's very good. Um, who's next? Erica. Any fun memories you have? Any fun moments?
I've known Dale, I think, across Facebook, but I'm really sad that I didn't get to meet him in person. When I saw that he was there, I was like, oh, missed opportunity. So I have to, hopefully I'll get to go to another one.
Oh, you could have sent me a message or something. I was
I
all
didn't
over
realize
that
you were
place.
there.
Oh, okay. I would have loved to have gotten you in your story. Would have loved it. You too, Casey. I'm not even sure if I bumped into you, Casey.
I know. I
Did
think
I?
I saw you 1 second at registration, and then it's
Oh,
funny how you don't see everybody all the time. It's so
Right.
big. It's hard.
right.
Yeah.
I would say I just had a good time. To me, it was good just reconnecting with everybody and that we haven't seen in like a long time. I met Casey's mom, and that was, to me, was just really awesome and special. I really enjoyed the Disney bounding night. That was a lot of fun.
Can you explain quickly what that is for anybody who might not have been at the conference?
What they asked was that you could dress up as a villain or a character or superhero. You were able to come dressed up like a Disney character. Some were dressed, I think we had Snow White and Prince Charming. I did my Minnie Mouse impression, had ears and all. We had someone from Star Wars. So it was just really fun. And they had different categories and different competition, just a little lightweight competition, which was really fun. Just a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun because we had to, hey, we were in Orlando, so we had to take advantage of.
I don't know how you're going to top it in California in 2 years.
I know. We're at Disney again in California. Oh my
I
goodness.
have to step up my game.
A lot of fun. Courtney, anything that stands out to you, a fun memory?
Yeah, I think that someone mentioned it before, but just the dance on Saturday night where everybody comes together and, you have people that are doing the auction. Some people are just chatting.
Yes.
All the kids are dancing. I was actually just looking at my phone trying to not spark my memory because clearly I remember this time very well, but I'm looking at all these pictures of Allison and all of her new friends, and there was like a little stage like towards the back of that room where the dance was, and like all these girls are just sitting there dancing with each other on a stage. My daughter's doing like Irish step dancing and putting on a show for the other girls, and it's just wild because she doesn't know how to do Irish step dancing, but apparently she was putting on the show for her friends and all these pictures. And it just makes me as a parent so happy to see her so happy and connecting with other kids who know what her life is like. And it's just wonderful. It really it's great. And even my son who does not have albinism, he was connecting with other kids. So he was able to, have a little bit, learn more about albinism. And like, he knows from his sister, but it's different when you're talking to someone who has albinism that's not your sister. So that was pretty great. I'd say those memories from that Saturday night were super fun.
It's really fun because the kids have their separate conference going on, their kids conference. So that's why the dance is so much fun, because that's the one time or one of the times we can all come together with the kids and adults and everybody. And yeah, the silent auction is also a lot of fun. Liz, what about you?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun memories and moments that stand out to me. I think one in particular was Saturday night after the reception that everyone's talking about. A group of us, we were all exhausted at this point because we were staying up really late every night and then getting up super early. We want to like maximize our time there. But Saturday night, a large group of us and more people just kept accumulating. We all came around. There was like this area, kind of like a courtyard in the hotel. There was like fountains and a bunch of tables, and we all sat out there in a ever expanding circle. And then we were all just kind of chatting and talking and playing games. And that was just a really fun night to connect with people. That was, like, it wasn't even scheduled into the conference, but it was just a nice moment for everyone to get together.
Yes, sometimes those times, those kind of like unplanned times, are some of the most memorable times when you can just connect with people. So that sounds awesome. The last question I have for all of you is, why is the NOAA conference important to you? Why do you think it's important? What does it mean to you? Erica, we'll start with you.
One thing, well, Liz just helped me remember that I guess my first conference was in 2008, because I do remember I did go to Dallas. I mean, not Dallas, Washington. So at that time, it was just something going on in my life, and I just needed to reach out, connect with a group, and I just took it, just on a whim. Hey, I've never been to a NOAA conference. Let me go. And just that first conference in 2008, I was hooked. It gave me confidence in my life. I was kind of like outgoing, didn't mind talking to people, but it gave me a way to talk about my albinism and my eye vision and stuff. And now it's like, it doesn't really bother me when I can get a chance to educate other people. And I'll give this real quick example. Just this past Monday, I had a dermal doctor's appointment. I was at a like a teaching hospital doctor or whatever. And first her whatever assistant came in with the person walking behind him. And he was standing there, doing his observation. And then when the doctor came in, she came in with like 4 other people with her. And so we had like a room full. And so she said, well, do you mind? And I was like, well, they might as well learn about albinism. Here I am. Nope, go ahead and stay. So, years ago, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done it. And it was just like, hey, whatever. So that's what I get out of going to the conferences.
I love that. I completely agree. I think the amount of confidence it gives you to be around other people is you can't, that is something you can't, I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but you can't really replicate that. Like, that is like,
no.
It's so important. It's so important. I feel the same way.
Right.
Dale, what about you?
Okay, so here's my thing of why the NOAA conference is just so important, because it's just, for me, it was a euphoric experience. I honestly felt like that NOAA conference was just absolutely amazing. You meet so many people. It actually broke my heart that it's not annually, which I thought it was. I thought the NOAA conference was once a year, but it's once every 2 years. And I was just like upset about that, because this conference, if you have albinism, you need to be at this conference. If you have a child with albinism, you need to be at this conference. You walk away with so much knowledge, so much information. And then, like you guys have both stated, that just being around other people with albinism is extremely helpful. And then you see so many people that look like you, that have gone through what you've gone through, of going through different experiences, and you can walk away with so much. There were people who had albinism companies, people who had albinism books, people who had albinism cartoons, people who had albinism movies, and everything that you can pull from it. And so that's why the conference is amazing. That's why it's important. If you have albinism, know somebody that has albinism, you need to be there. And then just really quick, there's one other thing that I wanted to say that Erica mentioned that really, really hit my soul, is when Erica stated, now when I'm asked questions about my albinism, instead of getting upset or frustrated, I use it as a time to educate. And that really hit home for me, because at the conference, I actually had that discussion with someone else who was expressing to me that they felt kind of overwhelmed or flustered when people constantly asked them questions about their albinism. And the one thing that I kept saying and kept saying and kept fighting for was to just explain to that individual, hey, if somebody asks a question about albinism, even if it's a silly question, instead of being upset or overwhelmed, use that as a time to educate them because they just may not know. And not everybody can just Google it because albinism could possibly be something that they have not seen before. So Erica's statement of, you know what, instead of me feeling any kind of way, I enjoy it because it gives me that chance to educate. I think that that's super important. And I really love the fact that you stated that, Erica. And that's something that I try to encourage to people too. And this all ties in together because being at the NOAH conference, you're around tons and tons and tons of other people with albinism. And you might be around someone who doesn't have albinism, who might be a parent of someone with albinism, who may have questions for you. So
Right.
it's a time to educate instead of being upset. I love that.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And I will say quickly, even though the conference is only every 2 years, we do have a few, this is for anybody listening, we do have a few in-person events on the off year, as you would call it. There for the kids, we have a kids camp in the summer. And for the adults, we have an adult weekend in the fall, which is going to be in Minneapolis in October, beginning of October.
September.
Mm,
The end of
End of
September.
September, maybe.
Mhm.
Karen probably knows. She's here. Sorry, Karen. I'm messing up the dates. End of September, early October, the last weekend of September, first weekend of October, something like that.
And I
Yeah.
will be there. I
That's
will be there.
Oh, good, good. You will be there. Yes, it's very fun as well. I should know the date and I messed it up, but yes, look on the website, albinism.org. It'll be there. Um, Courtney, what about you? Why do you think the conference is important?
Everything that Dale and Erica just said, everything that they said, coming from parent with albinism, right? Parent of a kid with albinism. I got that right. I mean, I want everything that Dale and Erica just said. That's exactly why I continue to go. I want to help my daughter create or be a part of a community that she understands, where she can educate other people, where she can advocate for herself, where she can meet friends and other people that know what life could be like for her. And where she can see role models, see, there's lots of mirrors, right? Lots of mirrors for her when we go to these conferences and go to these different NOAA events where she can see herself and other people, and ask the questions and build that confidence. So I wrote down those three things: community, confidence, and role models.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest, the number one reasons. Every reason that I go is for her. And like literally, Dale, I could not have said it any better. Erica, I could not have said it any better. So all those things.
Absolutely. And Karen just helped me. It's actually, we are both right, Erica. It's September and October. It crosses over. It's
Yes.
September 29th to October 1st of next year, 23.
Right.
So thank you, Karen. That's in the chat. Anybody that wants to go to that. But no, I completely agree, Courtney. I think, yeah, confidence, community, and it all kind of overlaps. Like when you have community, you have confidence and all of that. Liz, anything else to add for why conference is important?
Yeah, I think you're kind of all touching on it. Like I always, since going to the conferences, I've always looked at the NOAA conference as an opportunity, or like albinism in general. One of the opportunities that is given with having albinism is being immediately able to connect with people from all over the country or all over the world even, and be able to have like a conversation opener to immediately learn more about each other and forge these friendships from around the world. And the conference gives us this time every 2 years to connect in person with those people that we've formed these bonds with throughout the years. And it's a whirlwind of a three days to be able to do that and reconnect with people that you haven't met before, or reconnect with people that you've known for a really long time, and then also connect with new people who you've never met before and form those relationships. So that's one thing that always really stands out to me, the social aspect. And on top of that, I love going to the conference to be able to like share my experiences with others. I think I always have at least one meaningful moment at every conference that I go to, and it certainly happened a lot this conference, where you have a moment where you're talking to a parent of a child who is pretty young and they're trying to figure things out, and being able to just share your experience and for them to ask questions to you and feel completely comfortable to do so. I always love those moments of and being like, thank you so much for sharing that. I feel so relieved, or just being by us being there around each other, you're like, okay, we're gonna be okay, we got this, and you get to learn and see everyone else together. And I think that's something that I take away no matter what year I've gone to the conference, is the just like uplifting support and seeing everyone be so super successful in their own life paths is something cool.
Oh, you guys, this is making me feel all the feelings because, I know why conference is important, but sometimes it becomes normal and you kind of forget. And then you like, when you say it all like that, it's like, yes, it is so important. Okay, so those were all my questions, but we have a little bit more time. We can open it up. I don't know if anybody listening has any questions for the panelists about different sessions that were offered, or different things we did, or different things learned. But if anybody has questions, you can write them in the chat, or you can turn on your camera and just ask. And if not, we can go ahead and go, but I want to give that chance if anybody has any questions for any of our people.
Yes. Are we going to ever, put in the sessions, any recordings of the sessions up online?
Yes, we will. So yes, like I said, tomorrow Liz is doing her session from the conference and it will be recorded. So
Okay.
if you're not able to make it tomorrow night, it will be recorded. And then also we
Yeah.
have a few other people, like Jocelyn is also doing a session. We haven't put it on the calendar yet, but it should be in September. And a few other conference sessions will be available in our video library. So
It's kind of, my situation was I was there and yet I wasn't. I was stuck in my room with COVID all the time.
Oh, right. I know. We missed you, Wes.
Yeah, and it's like, when I got out, I was test negative. The last couple of days I was there at the end of our block room raid, and I hit the lazy river, everybody's talking about. Then I went to Epcot Center the next day on my own, and then the 21st, the day after that, I kind of been Disney Springs solo, and
yeah. Well, we're glad you're on this call, so at least you can hear about some of the stuff that went on.
so that's all I did. I got one day at Epcot Center, to
Oh
float.
man, I'm sorry.
We
hope to see you at Adult Weekend too next year.
So I'm gonna try to hit Adult Weekend, and so that's my experience at the conference. So it's like,
yeah. Oh, I hope next time you're feeling better and you can attend it. I know
I
that
hope I don't catch anything next year when I go to the adults.
I know.
Go to the AWOL. So, oh man.
Thanks. Anybody else have anything to say?
Casey.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, Jim, we will get to you. Did Eric?
Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, I have a comment. And it's kind of funny because other people are feeling the same way I felt. That's where I think NOAA is so important for the children, because the vision, everybody can deal with that and figure out the ways around that. The sun, you figure out, okay, sunblock. The emotional aspect of this is not something you can see or touch. And the kids, it makes a big difference, and it makes a big difference on the adults because they didn't have NOAA when I was a kid. And I wish they did, because it would have made a difference in my life. And the fact that I heard some other adults talking here tonight, they came to it as an adult and it changed their life. And I didn't come to some of the NOAA things when I could have earlier. I said, oh, I got to work. I'm doing fine. I don't need that. Well, guess what? Wrong. I should have gone, but I didn't. And that's why I go now. But I wished I had gone many years earlier. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure when anybody's doing things with parents, especially new parents, let them know this is an emotional thing they need to do for their children. Very, very, very important. That's my opinion. That's it.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you, Jim. I agree. I was not involved as a child either, and I wish I had been. So,
you know what? It's just that I know I really miss maybe that social aspect, and I really wish I could hook up with a group of you or something. And I try to invite people over to a couple of camps I'm doing with or retreats, they call them, at the Oral Foundation for the Blind, but nobody, was in a position to go. So,
right. Oh, I know. Erica, you were trying to say something?
I have two comments. This year I met a parent. Well, I saw her. We reconnected. When she came, her little boy his name is Dylan. He was a real little guy. And she was there this year, and I think he's a teenager now. So she made sure, she pointed him out, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I know I've kind of kept up with her across Facebook, social media. So that was really neat that she was bringing her son back so he could, make that connection, and make those friendships and stuff. So I thought that was just awesome. The other thing is, a lot of times my parents, I'm, we say middle age or whatever, my parents travel with me and my aunt comes, and people, I know people would ask in the past, why do your parents come? You're grown, da, 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 da. But they're there. They enjoy coming. They enjoy socializing and meeting other parents. And like you say, give them that information too. And so, that, my dad said, that's my baby, that's my daughter, whatever. But they enjoy coming, and they didn't get to come this year. Hopefully, I'm hoping that in 2024, they'll be with me. But that's another thing, you have parents that are there and they can talk to other parents. I love seeing the grandparents that are there as well, because that gives that child a community. So that's pretty much what NOAH has become, a community. And when you get with other people and they get it, you get it around other people, they get it, that, hey, we all can't see. Everybody pull your phone out. Let's take pictures of the menu up there on the wall, and you learn from, each other. And so you don't have to explain. Everybody gets it. You come in from out in the bright sunlight, and you come in to the dark. Everybody knows, slow down. So that to me is powerful too. And that's kind of piggybacking on what, what Jim said, is like, we didn't have that. We didn't have the sunblock and sunscreen and stuff. So now, it's good. You get this, this part of it.
I agree about the parents thing. My parents came. Do I need my parents to travel with me? No, I travel alone, but they come because it's like a family. They want to see the people too. So yeah,
exactly.
It's a family affair. Everyone's invited. It's very fun.
Right.
Anyone else that came to
Somebody
this
has their hand raised, looks like.
Yeah,
Casey.
who has their hand raised? Is that Rachel? Yes, please. I think you're muted, but yes, please go ahead.
Esther.
Hi.
Hi. So a couple things. One, I agree with everything y'all said. I didn't grow up with NOAH either, and it has made such a huge difference. And I before I ask my question, I just want to tell a really quick story. Back in the 90s, which I swear to God was only 10 years ago, but apparently it was longer than that. Back in the 90s, I don't know if some of y'all remember the albinism boards on the albinism websites that people could post to.
Oh, I think
yes.
web boards. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, right. The
Oh
web
my
boards.
gosh.
So when I was in college in the 90s, I was bopping around on there, and there'd be new parents who were freaking out, and I'd be like, hi, I'm your kid in college. Your kid's gonna be all right. Right. So and this one family had just had their kid, and they were freaking out. And I am not even kidding. When I went to my first NOAH conference in DC, which was years later, I'm telling you, this kid was an infant when we started. They came up to me, they saw my name, and they came up to me and they said, this is that kid, he's going to college.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So like this community, and they're like, thank you for talking to us umpteen billion years ago. You could have knocked me over with a feather. So like people remember, people make such a huge, and people have made that kind of impression on me too. And that just this community, it doesn't matter what kind of technology we're using, but obviously it helps to be in person. I'm really sorry I had good reasons for not being able to make it this year, but I'm really sorry I couldn't make it. And I am looking forward to 2 years from now. My question actually is, I am a giant nerd. And so I'm always really interested in the science stuff, not from any kind of cure perspective or anything like that, just because I'm a giant nerd who likes science. And I love when they come and they talk about what they're studying or what they found out about. Sometimes every now and then they find a new flavor of albinism or something like that. And, or, hey, we're studying how this, relates to other stuff or whatever, I have the best time in those workshops, and I'm always interested to hear what kind of studies there are and stuff like that. So I don't know if anybody went to any of those workshops. They might be old hat if you've been going for 1,000 years, but I'm curious if anyone learned anything cool in the science workshops. Thanks.
I know they had the like research panel, and I wasn't able to attend that because I had a schedule conflict, but I sent my boyfriend there to kind of gather anything he could get, and it was a great session as always with a lot of information. Karen or Casey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was one that was being recorded. Was it? Or was
Good
it not?
question. Karen, do you know?
I just sent
Karen.
Casey a message that says, Casey, I can answer this one.
Answer. So this is Karen Bly, our executive director. I'm sure you all know her, but if not, I'm introducing her now.
Thank you, Casey.
Karen, yes, please take this question. I would love that.
So just a couple quick updates. We did have several of the sessions through the weekend were recorded. Those will be available at some point. Unfortunately, they're not quite available yet. That they did require a little bit of editing, but
It's all good. I'll be here.
Latest research was one of the ones that we recorded. And also NOAA has a new research program, and we had a session on that as well. And that one was also recorded. So if you're interested in watching both of those, just keep an eye out on our webpage, social media, and we will have those up hopefully shortly.
You have made my nerdy little heart happy. Thank you.
There you go.
That was a great question, Rachel. Thanks for asking. And also the deep recesses of my brain, the albinism forums, like that is so funny that you said that. I was bopping around on those when I was a teenager too. And oh man, that was a good time. Like very different time of the internet. Okay, we only have a few minutes left, and then we will let everyone go. Anyone else? Final question? Maybe someone that hasn't.
I see
I feel like
Esther has
somebody
had
else
her
passed
hand
their
up.
hand up,
Ooh,
Casey.
oh my goodness, I'm bad at that.
Esther has for a
Erica needs
while.
to be. Sorry, Esther. Esther, please. Hello, Esther.
I'm
we'd
helping
love to-
out.
Hi.
Hello. Love to hear
So
from you.
I just had like a response to like, I think what Jim was saying about like not really having this when they were younger. I'm only 17, like I was still in kids conference, but this was my first conference. And my parents didn't come. They had like scheduling conflicts. I was there with my grandmother, but I've been saying to like my parents, like we have to come in 2024, like all together. Like I want to show them this. And I know like obviously for a lot of you, you're like much older than me. NOAA didn't exist when you were younger. NOAA existed for me. I just like I don't think my parents really knew about it. Like I had access to like the resources, like, you know, technology and stuff, but I didn't have the like community. So like I'd met a few people with albinism, but never at this like level. So like I was just like the whole time I was there, I was kind of emotional, just thinking like how much this would have like helped me just like a few years ago, like in middle school, elementary school. Just because like I didn't really like, I don't know, I was very insecure about like myself, which probably a lot of people were, but like I don't know, it would have been so helpful. And I had a friend who was saying that she was volunteering with the kids, like younger kids, like the first graders, and she said she saw like a couple kids come up to each other and say like, I've never seen anyone who looks like me. Like that's the sort of thing that was just like really like, it made me really emotional, just like seeing like the younger kids there, because that like I kind of saw myself, even though I like never had that. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Oh, that makes me emotional too.
You're gonna make everybody else on the call cry. Esther.
I know we're having a moment, everybody. We're having a moment. But thanks for
That's the
sharing.
NOAA
Esther.
magic.
Yeah. Noah's turning 40 this year, our 40th birthday in October. Oh, Jim, you have something else?
Yes, I do. Years ago, NOAA News used to be black and white, a little 10 pages or something. And it had a picture of 3 children in there with the blonde hair, the albinism, and 2 girls and a boy. And I have 2 sisters that have albinism. And so I cut that picture out, showed it to my father. Now it was fairly small. I showed it to my dad and I says, "Who is that?" "Well, Joan James Donna." He automatically thought it was his kids.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Out of that because he couldn't tell. And that's the thing. The parents are like, huh?
Oh yeah, people are losing their kids at the conference because it's like yeah, where's mine?
But it did look like us when we were younger. And I was like, yeah, he'll definitely think this was us. It's so comical. I can see
That's
little
great.
kids there, and it's like, yeah, I looked like you when I was your age. Or
Yes. Also, I've heard people with albinism who have children, their kids say mom, and it's like not their mom because they all have the blonde hair. And so yeah, that's really funny. It goes both ways with people, getting lost in the sea of light colored hair. But yes, we are out of time. Thank you all to our panelists for coming on, and thank you all to everyone else who came and gave comments and questions or just watched. Definitely fun to relive the conference from different perspectives because we didn't all get to go to all the sessions. And so if you want to keep connecting with us all, there are always virtual opportunities going on. You can find that at albinism.org or on web, or if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram. We also have a weekly newsletter, e-news, which has all of our sessions as well. Definitely don't miss out on Liz's session tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. And there are a lot of other fun things coming up too. So I can't plug them all, but go to the website for sure. And thanks everybody for coming. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Hope you all have a great night.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Casey.
Casey.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks,
Have a
Casey.
good one.